1. Which of the following best reflects the primary role of an accredited financial counselor when supporting adult learners in financial decision-making? A. Dictating financial plans for clients. B. Facilitating understanding through guided discovery. C. Prioritizing investment strategies over debt management. D. Enforcing standardized financial solutions. 2. When developing a financial literacy curriculum for adults, what is the most effective approach? A. Focus on abstract theories of economics. B. Use case studies and practical budgeting exercises. C. Provide standardized worksheets without context. D. Deliver content exclusively through lectures. 3. Which evaluation method best measures the effectiveness of a financial counseling workshop? A. Counting attendance. B. Participant self-assessment surveys. C. Counselor anecdotal feedback. D. Measuring post-training behavioral changes. 4. In adult learning principles, self-directedness implies that clients A. Prefer counselor-led decision-making. B. Benefit from being passive recipients of information. C. Learn best when they control their own learning process. D. Need rigid instructions to ensure compliance. 5. Which communication strategy most supports rapport building with adult clients? A. Using technical jargon to demonstrate expertise. B. Active listening and paraphrasing client concerns. C. Redirecting conversations to the counselor's priorities. D. Delivering scripted advice regardless of context. 6. When mentoring new AFC candidates, which technique is most effective? A. Encouraging reflective practice and guided feedback. B. Directly correcting all errors without discussion. C. Avoiding feedback to promote independence. D. Limiting practice opportunities to prevent mistakes. 7. Which regulatory standard governs the ethical behavior of accredited financial counselors? A. SEC Compliance Act. B. AFCPE Code of Ethics. C. Federal Reserve Act. D. Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. 8. Which tool is most appropriate for evaluating long-term financial behavior change? A. Immediate post-session quiz. E. Follow-up client interviews after 6 months. C. Attendance tracking logs. D. Counselor self-reflection notes. 9. What is the primary purpose of formative evaluation in financial counseling? A. Measuring final outcomes. B. Identifying progress and areas for improvement during learning. C. Assigning pass-fail grades. D. Benchmarking against national averages. 10. Which mentoring approach promotes critical thinking in AFC trainees? A. Providing answers to every client scenario. B. Asking open-ended questions to stimulate reflection. C. Offering only theoretical reading materials. D. Withholding feedback until program completion. 11. Which adult learning theory emphasizes connecting new financial knowledge to personal experiences? A. Operant conditioning. B. Experiential learning. C. Classical conditioning. D. Cognitive dissonance. 12. When assessing communication effectiveness, which indicator is most reliable? A. Counselor's impression of the session. B. Client's ability to explain concepts in their own words. C. Frequency of counselor speaking. D. Duration of session. 13. A critical component of curriculum development for financial literacy is A. Using identical content for all learners. B. Aligning learning objectives with client needs. C. Limiting materials to one delivery method. D. Avoiding cultural relevance to maintain neutrality. 14. Which regulatory requirement must an AFC follow when handling client information? A. Mandatory stock investment disclosure. B. Confidentiality and data privacy standards. C. Promotion of specific banking products. D. Exclusive use of federal financial programs. 15. Which evaluation tool best determines if clients have transferred financial knowledge into real-world practice? A. Knowledge-based multiple-choice test. B. Client budgeting behavior observed over time. C. Counselor's perception of client engagement. D. Attendance certificate issuance. 16. Which element of adult learning is most important for motivating clients? A. Immediate application of knowledge. B. Delayed feedback on progress. C. Memorization of financial terminology. D. Strict adherence to counselor recommendations. 17. In mentoring, scaffolding refers to A. Creating strict rules for mentees. B. Gradually removing support as competence increases. C. Assigning all responsibilities immediately. D. Restricting mentees from asking questions. 18. Which communication barrier is most detrimental to effective financial counseling? A. Active listening. E. Cultural insensitivity. C. Use of reflective questioning. D. Empathy in dialogue. 19. Which regulatory framework emphasizes consumer protection in financial counseling? A. Truth in Lending Act. B. Clean Air Act. C. Agricultural Adjustment Act. D. Voting Rights Act. 20. A counselor designs a course where participants practice debt repayment simulations. This exemplifies A. Passive lecture strategy. B. Experiential learning activity. C. Memorization technique. D. Rote learning model. 21. Which adult learning principle stresses the importance of immediate feedback? A. Pedagogy. B. Andragogy. C. Classical conditioning. D. Behaviorism only. 22. Which evaluation strategy provides the most objective feedback on program effectiveness? A. Random client testimonials. B. Standardized pre- and post-test assessments. C. Counselor's personal notes. D. Attendance certificates. 23. Which mentoring strategy fosters long-term professional development? A. Directive coaching with no discussion. B. Peer collaboration and reflective dialogue. C. Memorization of AFC standards. D. Avoidance of practice scenarios. 24. In curriculum development, aligning objectives, instruction, and evaluation is known as A. Backward design. B. Summative assessment. C. Program auditing. D. Standardized reporting. 25. Which communication skill ensures clarity in financial counseling? A. Using metaphors tailored to client experience. B. Dominating the discussion to maintain control. C. Avoiding questions to save time. D. Providing lengthy monologues. 26. Which evaluation tool best identifies gaps during learning sessions? A. Formative assessments. B. Summative assessments. C. Final certification exam. D. Attendance record. 27. Which mentoring strategy aligns with adult learning theory? A. Encouraging self-reflection on counseling sessions. B. Providing scripted solutions for every situation. C. Restricting mentees from experimenting. D. Prioritizing compliance over creativity. 28. What regulatory obligation must an AFC fulfill under data protection laws? A. Destroy all records after one session. B. Obtain informed consent before sharing information. C. Report all client debts to creditors. E. Share client data with all stakeholders. 29. A client-centered curriculum should prioritize A. Standardized content over customization. B. Interactive and practical learning activities. C. Solely theoretical lectures. D. Passive note-taking. 30. Which communication practice fosters trust with clients? A. Non-judgmental feedback. A. Frequent interruptions. C. Overuse of technical terms. D. Imposing rigid solutions. 31. Which evaluation approach emphasizes real-time feedback during counseling sessions? A. Diagnostic testing. B. Formative evaluation. C. Summative evaluation. D. Standardized assessment. 32. In adult learning, relevance of material is critical because A. Adults are motivated by immediate applicability. B. Adults learn best through memorization drills. C. Adults require frequent examinations. D. Adults only value abstract theory. 33. Which curriculum component ensures alignment with learner goals? A. Learning objectives. B. Administrative policies. C. Attendance sheets. D. Instructor biographies. 34. Which communication strategy demonstrates empathy? A. Acknowledging client emotions and perspectives. B. Ignoring nonverbal cues. C. Redirecting focus to counselor achievements. D. Minimizing client concerns.